prevention strategies, it would not be from our quote-unquote ivory tower, but from the people themselves based on what they said they wanted from us. We also, we were very instrumental in facilitating the development of the CDC, which was a new initiative that was established through the CSJP and SDC. Coming out of the conference and stuff, we, and when I say we, the university and the people identified 6 areas which we adopted as our 6-pillar approach to community development. And these 6 areas were: 1, improving education at the various levels; increase entrepreneurship; reduce crime and violence; enhance sports and culture; and also improve health conditions and services. Now, in terms of early childhood education, we recognize that there were many schools that had been existing for all these years in the community, and they were not even recognized by the Early Childhood Commission. And so, if at the basic level, if at the early childhood level, the education is poor, naturally what goes up the system would follow suit. Therefore, they would not be able to articulate to the university. So we went in also and we identified various colors, and we offered a number of scholarships. Today we have over 24 graduates, 3 of them having first class honors, 17 of them have like upper second class honors, etc. And we have trained along the various areas, not only at the tertiary level, but also the youth, also persons in construction and general housekeeping in collaboration with HEART, so that they can be certified not only to work in Jamaica, but anywhere within the Caribbean. What were the lessons that we learned? The bottom-up approach. Get your information directly from the various persons on the ground. We learned that it was not good enough, as I had mentioned, to think of what we believe were the problems and also the solution. But we actually walked, talked, find out how they felt about the situation, where they desire to go, how they believe they can get there, and how they can help in the process. The idea is for them to have ownership of it, rather than we impose, when we are gone, hello, it's going to die. Inclusiveness is also one of the lessons that we learned, that it was better to be inclusive, engage all stakeholders. And various presentations have spoken more or less to that. Engage the business interest, government, the police, as much as my colleague just mentioned how the police was seen. In Augustown, over time, the perception of the police was really different. They really developed a relationship with the police, so much so that the work of the police in Augustown became far easier, in the sense that whenever anything happened, the police didn't necessarily have to go to find the perpetrators, but the perpetrators were taken to the police by residents in Augustown. We also, one of the lessons is facilitate the development of the human resources. If we do not provide the necessary opportunities, capacity building, etc., for the human resources, then you are saying, hey, go and be a candidate for a co-option into gangs and violence, etc. So, through the scholarships, for those basically who could access it, this who could access the scholarship, we provided it so that they could contribute to nation building. Vocational training, capacity building for the various CBOs. We work with the principals also in order that we are touching and training and developing the different tiers. It was important for us not only to look at the gangs and what they are doing, but to take what we call a holistic approach. Because if you look at one and you leave the other unattended to, then you are leaving that gap for someone else to be filled and to fill. And normally it would be those who are providing those kinds of opportunities. The concept of shared value is a lesson learned. The university has contributed through township to the economic value of the area. For example, since 2010, the housing stock in Augusttown has seen unprecedented development. When you go somewhere like Goldsmith Villa, somewhere when you heard the word Goldsmith Villa, immediately your heart starts beating harder. Some of the most magnificent houses are there, and they have up to, some persons have like 40 students from the university accommodated, residing in those places, and the rental is from a minimum of $20,000 per person to a maximum of $60,000. So the income earning capacity of the residents were built. So much so now that they do not have to rely on the gangs anymore. They do not have to rely on the political people wholesomely anymore. But through the various interventions, we have been able to impact the Augusttown community. And one of the good things that the university has done is to make it a policy. It is in our strategic plan to engage the community so that we help to realize the vision of Jamaica, which is to make Augusttown and other inner city communities that we will go into a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thank you.
Dr. Burke, you carried the baton well. Okay, everyone, we are now at the end of our group of presentations, and now we will take a few questions. I know everyone might be eager to go, but if there's anyone who has any burning questions? I'm seeing a hand there, the mic. Oh, there's another one, right? I think we're gonna we'll just get the mic and put it right here. We're gonna set a mic up right here.
So.
Okay. Well, while we get the mic around to the front so that people can, oh, you have one. Okay, go ahead, please.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Venice. I don't know why I just felt a little bit nervous, but anyway, never mind. My name is Venice. I'm from Montego Bay. I'm from the Norwood CDC, as well as a member of the Citizens Association in my community where I live. All right, I've been here from morning, and I've heard a lot of the speakers address a lot of issues and points as it pertains to crime and violence and community development. Now, I hear some people with possible solutions, as well as solutions that they use, things they used in the past to get solutions to crime and violence. But one thing I know for sure, as a mother who unfortunately is no longer a mother because of crime that I did not expect would have touched me personally. 4 weeks ago, my son and his girlfriend were killed on Leaders Avenue. They had a 1 year and 10-month-old baby. They died leaving the child. There is no known reason for their killing. No known reason at all. And honestly, when I got the news that they were shot and killed, they shot up the car that my son was driving. When I got the news that they were shot and killed, I was devastated. All kinds of things went through my head. I felt like I wanted revenge. I felt like I wanted to die. I felt all kinds of feelings went through me then. But 3 days after the killing, I got up and I found the courage to do a voice note, which I sent out to some people, asking people to forgive my son and my daughter-in-law's killers. And honestly, that was when I was relieved of the stress and the pain that I was feeling after I got the bad news. Now, being an active member in my community, I realized that I had people coming around consoling, expressing condolence and all of that, but I know the definition of PMI is supposed to be Peace Management Initiative, and CSJP is supposed to be Citizen Security and Justice Program. And I have noticed that I have not seen anybody who came to my assistance, did not even advise. They have the Victim Support Unit. I didn't even remember them until today when I got here, which I was referred to them. Nobody from the Victim Support Unit came to see me. Now I'm saying this, what if I was one of those persons who believed in revenge? To get up and say, okay, they killed my son. He's my only child, not just my only son, my only child. He was my best friend. His girlfriend, she was one of my best friends. We lived together. We had a peaceful, loving relationship. I lost my friends, I lost my company, I lost my children. What if I had gotten up and said, okay, you killed my family members, I'm going to find out who. And I started killing other people for that. Nobody came to see where Venice was psychologically. I could have gone crazy. I could have started killing. Now I want to know, I'm not bashing anyone or any organization, but these organizations that we have or claim to have that is supposed to be initiating peace or instilling peace in communities or among community members, where are they in our time of need? Yes, CSJP can attest to sending people to school, giving people scholarships and all of that. But okay, you're giving scholarships to the people who are able to get scholarship. What happened to the people who can't read, can't write, not fit for a scholarship, not fit to get into an institution? What happened to people like those? All right? Now, one of my other problems is this. We'll speak of what we do for the teenagers, the youngsters, as it pertains to teenagers, like 10 to, say, 25, 30 years old. What about our little children who are coming up? How do we get them from that point to change what we have happening in our society? What do we do? Those are their formative years, and I think those are the most important age or years of their lives that we're supposed to get them to change their minds from what is going on, to know that this bloodletting needs to stop, this eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth thing needs to stop. The kind of music that we allow them to listen to, the kind of music that we allow our producers to produce our children listen to, the kind of games, gun games we give them on their little PlayStation to shoot at somebody. One day they're going to want to shoot at somebody, real somebody too. The music, the food, the games, we need to pay attention to those, because those are the things that we're using to form the minds of the children that we have growing up in our society. And if we don't stop it from those age, the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years, we're going to only be getting worse and worse and worse. And I think we really, really, really need to go out in communities, not to have forums like these where we come and sit down and everybody come with them big word and them pretty talk. And then tomorrow you're seeing the spreadsheet that we spend millions of dollars to have a forum. And you commend the people for how good the food tastes, and you got the free drive from Montego Bay to Kingston and all of that. That's not what it is, because nobody knew where Venice was psychologically. I could have gone out of my mind. I could have been one of those killers. I could be responsible for some more killings in the Western region. I just chose not to. I chose forgiveness, I chose love, I chose affection, I chose sympathy, I chose compassion. And be thankful that I'm one of the people who chose that. But I'm a mature woman, a 46-year-old mature woman. What about a younger person than me, who is not mentally stable like me, who is probably not even as knowledgeable as I am, to say, okay, this is the stance I'm going to take. This is what I'm going to do. And get up and say, okay, you hurt my friend, you hurt my family. I'm going to take revenge. We need to understand that that is what is happening in our society.
Yes, I can hear you.
PMI is in Montego Bay. There's a PMI West and a PMI Kingston. We are from PMI Kingston. Yes, we are from PMI Kingston. There's a PMI West, which it operates the same model that we do, but the management is different from ours. I am not sure which community you are from. Norwood. I think they have violence. They have 2 officers in Norwood, violence interrupters. I apologize profusely because their violence interrupters are placed in areas based on the situation in Montego Bay. Their management determined where is the best areas that violence interrupters should work. Also, let me say this. In regards to your point about the children, what we're doing about the children, for PMI Kingston, we have a school-based intervention program where we go in and offer therapeutic intervention for the children. We start from the basic school level, and then we filter that out to the community. So what we do, we work in tandem with the school and guidance counselors, where we get children, and believe me, there are many. And the children are re-traumatized regularly because these are areas where violence keep happening, and these are things that they see consistently. We use art therapy and play therapy to get the things out. So any agency that is out there and want to come and support us while we go in, because we just cannot manage. And I see your point and I take it, but it's so much. I'm sorry about nobody coming out to you in Norwood, which is kind of weird for me because normally the VI would make the report back to the office in Montego Bay. But at this point, I would mind getting your information so I could connect you with the person who is in charge. She's Mrs. Sheila Brooks. She is the executive officer for Montego Bay. I wouldn't mind connecting you with her and see how best she can help.
Okay.
Can I just respond to? It is hard for anybody who has not been through your trauma to really understand it, frankly. But 2 things I want to say. One I'll say quickly, and then I go to the substantive thing. That the victim support unit in Montego Bay, I think there's 1 officer.
Yes.
And PMI and all our social intervention agencies are woefully underfunded and understaffed. But I want to say something that I completely respect you for responding in the way that you did. Because if I had presented the quantitative findings, you'd see that the youth in St. James, 83% of them told me that they have bad minds. 83% want to take revenge. In the same way, about close to 80% want to get rich quick, and so on. I wanted to understand as Jamaicans that the essence of this, beneath it, are some of the very things, envy, greed, all of those things that are very spiritual things, and you have taken a response that is effectively spiritual. And the solution to this will not only rely on our state agencies. It's going to come down to us on the ground making some choices. I was fascinated when the speech that was up, when he was saying, and I found this too, that people normally want somebody like a Don to come into the area, the same sort of aura to have things changed. And it means to me that we have such low self-esteem as persons, as citizens, that we're raising people who do not believe that they have the capacity to change things for themselves. And so for that reason, I want to thank you for your response is an example. And it shows what is needed to change things are really the basic things that we were taught long ago. It's really love and forgiveness and compassion that we have departed from. And as an academic, we can put up all sorts of recommendations. They all come down to some critical, central things that my thesis don't really capture what ought to happen in this society. They are the grounded things that we grew up on that we have departed from, fundamentally.
Again, condolences, and yes, I'm glad for the approach that you have taken. At the university, I can tell you that in 2011, it was very, very rough in Augustown, number of persons killed. And 2011 to 2017, that's 6 years now, we still have direct treatment going on with the families of, there were some Simpsons who were killed, 2 brothers, of those persons through the community health and psychiatry. The point I'm making is we don't go in and leave. We go in and we stay and we work continuously. Most of what we do, we don't make a PR of it. That is not the university's role. We don't go on television, really. We do what we have to do and do it quietly. And so I remember when we had a parenting program with CSJP, and a particular parent's son got killed, and the lady, she cried and she said, boy, Angela was there, Angela Harris. She said, I truly know, Miss Harris, I truly know I hate the program, because you see, if it wasn't for that parenting program, what she would do. But thank God I am a changed person, and so I won't do it. So it's a similar sentiment that she's saying. So for the agencies like ours who are doing the work, it is just for us to continue, and for the government to recognize that it takes long-term investment, lot of financial investment, and investment from persons who really care and not persons who are there to make a name for themselves.
I think SSP would like to say something, so could you?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
I want to weigh in now. Can I come in now?
Yes.
All right. I heard the other speakers, and this is one of the reasons why we think that the external agencies are not consistent enough, but we want to formulate a consultative committee in every community. And this committee would be made up of people who resides in the community, people like pastors, senior shopkeepers, a group that can zero in on cases like these, where they can do day-to-day working with these youngsters or people who are involved in simple conflicts, and also basic issues that they are there. But the consistency is where the key is, because the lack of consistency is what is causing these people to lose faith in any system that is there to help them. So within the program that we are implementing from the Community Safety and Security arm is to formulate a consultative committee in every community so that they can chip in when these issues come along.
Okay. I think one more thing I would like to add is that the Victim Services Division, they provide training, a 40-hour training program for residents, and this training is to provide grief counseling and trauma counseling and that type of thing. And the training is usually free, but it's only at specific times of the year. And just hearing that kind of discussion just says that maybe there is need for us to look at even increasing the amount of trainings provided so that in each community there will be more residents with the type of training in this kind of grief counseling that they can now step in and fill the gap that, quite frankly, with very limited resources, the government may not be able to provide. But if we have trained residents through our communities working, then that kind of support can be provided to persons. Okay, I am seeing one hand. We'll be wrapping up soon because I've seen persons leaving, so we have.
Well, good afternoon again. A lot of things have been said, and I want to say blessings to Mr. McGregor. He was in West Kingston, he did a lot. He did not mention the street monitors, but we also had street monitors who monitor streets. Yes. PMI, I'm a proud violence interrupter, and I can say that we were trained. First time I used to go to my bed and sleep till the morning, but now 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock here, boy. I pick them, say, where you go? I say, I look our. We fly out. We work with main players. So sometimes we say, we don't work with police, people take it the wrong way. When we say we don't work with police, we mean we don't go on the road. We don't carry police with us. We go and we meet the main players. I can recall we went to Montego Bay and Clarendon and up in Sunlight Street, that area. And police come and say, what not do you? We're not afraid, you know one of there. But guess what? We're saving lives. And I can recall one night in West Kingston, somebody got shot. And I was at a function. And on my way from the function, every gun ice. And I forgot to boop on my phone and call about 2 more violent interrupters and say, meet me. I'll be sitting down and talk to the man with them gun and the man. And say, look here, man, this is the thing. The million-dollar question is, what you want for your community in the next 5 to 10 years? Them know, you know, so them family them are killed, but them need somebody to remind them. And being gunmen, you can't leave them alone. The man knows somebody interested, somebody care. Resources are limited. We have retreats that we carry them on. Say you have 5 corners where war. You take man from the 5 corners and carry together for live for 4 days. At the end of the day, those men come back and say, boy, we were war for. Just recently, we had a buckle war. Because now that we have this so not gun now first, so we had a buckle war. And we as violence interrupter and West Kingston decided to meet. And we went to the men. And said, look here, man, I work cause this. And, you know, a woman, as usual, women cause a lot of things, as the doctor said. Right? And we get on it and we stem it. But people don't understand. We men are you, all right, who better to talk to persons more than people who was in it. I have a volunteer up there in my community where a superintendent of police tell, if you would change, me ask for a sex change. And that young man was a violent robber, you know, and he become a violent interrupter and is now a changed person. And sometimes they say, I can't find dinner, I can't now rob again. But we, as a community person, because let me tell you, you know, volunteerism are dead out, you know. You now find people do volunteer work again because they now get nothing. You have to love your community. I'm born and go and live in West Kingston. Then I'm told to be exact, I'm not leave. And for me have to see my community go away. I come in the community and for about 6 months, we have 6 months of peace, no gunshot, nothing. And to my surprise, the church came in and decided over. When we have war, we're not in church, you know. And the church came in at a march. Them never invite no member from the PMI. You know, PMI in there work for a couple months. Invite them, they went and have a march, no problem. But after the church gone, shots start fire again. So we just asking personal community, say, make we think. The gunman, them a human being. They need, it's not a killing now, because I remember Mr. McGregor said, I don't come to kill nobody, I come to change people. Right? So change where change them. Them can't change. Right now we have the Zozo, and me not lie, me love it, because you not shut everything calm. But violence interrupters are persons who work in the community, stop. And nothing will stop, Enough life is safe. May I tell you that? But the resources are not there. So we ask agencies, just come on board and assist us, because we need help.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. At this point, Madam Chair, as Madam Chairperson returns to the podium, I'd like to thank all the panelists. I don't think, do you have any parting words for?
Yes, let me go first. You have me on?
Yes.
And with what the last speaker just said, with the peace that the West Kingston community is now having with the advent of the Zozo initiative, they should capitalize on this downtime, because this is the best time to get to the citizens to iron out a relationship and a way of working. So PMI, CSJP, JSIF, the police group, all should work together now to get the community on one accord, whilst they have this umbrella of peace in the community. We find that many of these social agencies, they're on a one-upmanship thing. They want personal, big upness, for want of a better word. But if we all work together for the one purpose, in bringing peace in the community, it will work. And from the community safety and security arm, this is what we'll be working at. So we'll be working with PMI, all the other agencies within West Kingston, and also Mount Salem in St. James, so that we can get a consistent peace in these communities.
Thank you, SSB.
Just wanted to say quickly that we really do need to consider the problem as multifaceted. We are not just material persons, there are many dimensions to human beings, and there are many dimensions to problems. That's one thing. The second thing is that we have too many smatterings of interventions all over the place. Everybody is doing something, and it is not coordinated, and that friction and division is really problematic. So it is really useless. There's no real need for it, except, as he said, there's a lot of hype that goes with my position as what I do. So that is something that and the third thing is a suggestion, that where we have high levels of unemployment, I often wonder why we cannot train youth and pay them, for example, to be peer-on-peer educators or health practitioners, so we can train them to fulfill many of the social gaps that are in our communities. You're talking about even youth can really negotiate with each other and stop violence as well. So why do we have unemployment and we don't have enough social services? Why can't we just put both of them together? Is something that I think we ought to think about.
So agree with my fellow presenters that we need to work together. We, as agencies, we are always segmented, each doing its own. So we need to come together to see how efficiently and effectively we can address the issues that are affecting our communities.
For me, it's just to embrace the holistic approach to violence reduction and community development, because it will not be sustained if we have it ad hoc and piecemeal. Engage all stakeholders, and bear in mind that most importantly in all of it is the residents who reside in the various communities.
Okay, thank you very much. And in my 30-second wrap-up, there are some key words that came out in the presentations from my group of panelists. Some of the key things: culture, understanding the culture of the communities in which we are working, understanding the need for the involvement of the community residents in whatever plans we're doing for them, understanding the need for partnerships. No single agency can solve Jamaica's problems alone. No single agency has the resources to solve Jamaica's problem alone. So there's need for partnership and coordination. And finally, recognizing that in everything that you're doing, you may be treating with persons who have been victims of trauma, and there's need to also deal with that trauma before you can engage them in anything else. Thank you all for listening.
We have certainly cleared the room, but it has been a riveting and information-packed day today. Though we are small in number, it has been a wonderful day, and we want to congratulate the Planning Institute of Jamaica once again for hosting the second Best Practice Symposium for Community Development. It has been informative. It has brought the stakeholders together in one place, which is what was necessary to facilitate the kind of information sharing and networking that we need. Also, what has happened is we have brought to the fore many of the issues on the ground. We have exposed not only persons who are in that particular area, but in many areas to the truths that we have happening in our society. And hopefully after today, we would have formed the kind of networking bonds that we need to come together. As our last moderator said, no one stakeholder can solve the problem. The problem will be solved in coming together. It was funny, we were under the motto, for want of a better word, of joint action for total solution. And that is the only way we will have total solution. At this time, I'd just like to thank our partners, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Community Renewal Program, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Jamaica Public Service, the Citizen Security and Justice Program, the National Housing Trust, the Housing Association of Jamaica, and the Social Development Commission. We also want to make special mention to Flow for providing the direct internet line, which allowed us to do the live stream that we needed for the event. To do our final wrap-up, I am going to invite Mr. Charles Clayton, Director for the Community Renewal Program at the PIOJ. Number small, but it has been a good day. And we have weathered it, and we have been informed and invigorated and hopefully nurtured and excited to take the next steps, because if we are not, we will all pay the price for that. It is one Jamaica, and we have all decided that we're going to live here. And if it is that we're going to live here together, we must ensure that we all get to the other side. Not just me one, and my household one, the whole away in this one ship. So Mr. Clayton, I invite you for the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I can see a sense of foreboding as I come, because you imagine that I'm going to be up here for some time going through the events of the day, but I can assure you I won't. I'll just take 3 minutes or so to say what I have to say. And Madam Chair has actually done the vote of thanks for me, so I don't have to get into that at all, except to say, before I close, thanks to the panelists for the day and to our folks who gave us entertainment today, to the chairs and to the community members who came, and to the other partners who were not a part of this organizing coalition, but who participated in various ways in this program. I say thanks to you also. In terms of the way forward, there are a couple of things that we really want to do. One, we want to ensure that the information that was shared today can be available for future viewing. So we're going to be working on getting it up onto a website where it can be viewed, and you'll hear more about that later on. We also want to make sure that whatever has been said here is documented somewhere where it can be researched and seen. Secondly, we saw from this symposium today that there's a high demand for participation way beyond the capacity of this room. And so going forward, we're going to be considering mechanisms for opening it up, finding another bigger venue, and finding another way of presenting it so that we can have wider participation from our community members and from our partners elsewhere. So that's the second thing that we will do. And lastly, I want to invite those of us here. I've been hearing throughout the day the need for partnerships and a coordinated way of doing things. This symposium is in fact for that very purpose, and it comes out of a process, as I said earlier on, that is organized by the SDC, where you have this interagency coalition, and we have been working with that process to pull agencies together to target specific communities. So what I suggest is that we don't need to invent new processes as we go forward, but we need to look at what exists and see how we can straighten it if it doesn't work for us, or to work with those existing processes to see how we can work together to get things done. I heard what was said by the community members about perhaps fatigue and frustration at the slow pace of things, but I can assure you that if we work in this coordinated way, as we did for the symposium today, you will begin to see a multiplication of the results, and you'll also be able to see better targeting of the communities and of the needs of these communities, and this way, impact will be ramped up. So once again, thank you all very much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you not only next year's symposium, but as a stronger partner in the interagency network that we are a part of. Thank you very much.
I never planned to come back up here, But just to advise that on your way out, there is a refreshment available before you hit the traffic. So please take the time to stop, to refresh yourselves, to chit-chat before we have to go there and battle that one. Thank you again. You have been a wonderful audience today, and have a safe ride home. Thank you.